I know individuals that sell things, right? And when they sell things, most of their customers, most of their clientele are not even in the regions that they are. I'm talking about they are far and wide as probably 10,000 kilometers away.
As much as you want to be passionate about business and you want to go into business, but you don't understand the market, you see yourself failing from the onset.
Seek counsel from people that are ahead of you, get mentorship. Don't feel you can do it like you know it all. Because you have the skill does not mean you can actually thrive in it. Okay.
Regulations are not our enemy. They're in place for proper establishment of organizations and of businesses, about access to funding. I think it still comes back to knowledge problem. Because what I've come to realize that there is funding out there, just that a lot of people don't know about them.
It's not too late to start, even though you might feel that everybody have started and you are behind. I feel you should just start.
You cannot be a business person and you are using your personal account to receive money. You are not serious, right? You need to work on that. You have to have a bank account in your business name.
Hi guys, welcome to Timeline. My name is Paul. With me here is
Jionese.
And also we have in the building
Emmanuel Enebeli.
Hi, Emmanuel.
It's nice to have you.
It's nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, today we'll be talking about youth entrepreneurship. It's important that we all try to create jobs for ourselves, as at the moment, the global youth unemployment rate is currently skyrocketing. Entrepreneurship is not just about making profits, but rather impacting your society, being creative, and making a change. We're talking about change makers today and how youths can become change makers. The World Bank says that by 2030, we need to create about 600 million jobs to ensure that everyone has jobs by 2030. At the moment, we're still working towards that. And I mean, with entrepreneurship, it bridges the gap of unemployment and more employment. And the interesting thing about it is the fact that with entrepreneurship, we have more jobs created on board and all of those kind of things.
I totally agree with you. No, I'm always agreeing with you, especially
you have no choice but to agree with me.
Well, it's not all the time, Sha. Like whenever you're making serious sense. Well, anyways, you always make sense. That's why you're my guy. Anyways, let's talk about the opportunities that have been presented to youth, for youth entrepreneurship. I think one of it is the growing technology, digital economy we have, and that's the rise of e-commerce, fintech companies. You see a lot of these particular companies coming up to encourage youths to scale up their businesses. They can actually present, market their businesses and make sure that it's really, really going well. So this particular growing digital economy has really, really contributed so far. Is an opportunity presented to youth to scale through.
I mean, another of such is the growing investment in several regions. I mean, the World Bank have investments that are specifically targeted at young individuals. And it's more like it has to be probably a startup that was created by a young individual, has to be run by, has to have a vision, a long-term goal, not just any kind of plan or not just any kind of startup that is just probably you have a startup that would just I'm trying to look for something that is not really. There are some that don't make impact. Basically, they don't look out for things like that. Even UNDP as well, they try to invest so much in startups like that, especially startups that are for young people.
Yeah. Do you have more opportunities?
Yes. So, like you said, the digital space is where we see a lot of young people thriving, right? And we see that it's give opportunities for, because it's a wide space. It gives opportunities for startups to, come in and thrive. And, we see like things like e-commerce, popping up, and I think it's really growing there.
No, it's for me. It's another thing again is at the moment now the access to a global market. So unlike before, now it was more like you have to see someone in person to be able to probably have to have business, right? It has to go to the market. Exactly. For an exchange to happen, you have to go to the market and all of that.
Basically.
But now, right, we see that from even the corner of your house, from your own room, from that small cubicle that you call your first shop, right? You could export things outside the country, have clients that are across borders, across the seas. I have individuals, I know individuals that sell things, right? And when they sell things, most of their customers, most of their clientele are not even in the regions that they are. I'm talking about they are far and wide as probably 10,000 kilometers away or 10,000 miles away. All of those things. It's just with you talked about how digital we are going now, right? How technology has made things easier. It just talks, everything else links down to the fact that at the end of the day, we have a very broad market that is able to touch everybody. So wherever you are, even if you are in the corner of your room, you shouldn't be looking at just selling to your neighbors, your friends, your family. What you should be looking out more for is outside, how you can scale up, really, how you can upscale your business.
I think another one that we need to really talk about, give praises, permits me to give praises, is the international organizations, the NGOs. These set of people or groups have actually presented opportunities for startups to thrive in their businesses. For instance, offering mentorship, funding, a lot of guidance, to help them that, okay, I have attained this particular height. So you that is coming behind me, this is what to do, giving them guidelines, footprints on them to for them to follow. And the NGO has actually, these NGOs, in different sectors, they have different sectors they represent and different kind of people they reach out to. So for the startups, especially, we have likes of Emmanuel Enebeli, people that are actually for the growth of the youth and entrepreneurship. They have actually tried in presenting opportunities for the youth.
So with all of these opportunities that are on board for youth, right, we still see that in some regions, like, youth still face challenges. So from your own line, what are those challenges that you've spotted out? And probably let's look at how we can also overcome them as we go further in discussion. So what are those challenges that you've noticed?
Okay, so over time, I think the first thing that most young people face as challenge is access to capital, right? And, as much as we want to motivate them, tell them that, your ideas are valid like that, without the requisite capital to bring those ideas into friction, we see a lot of ideas die, right? And, that's why, like you said, we've seen a lot of organizations come in to see how they can help startup access capital easily, right? And, you see a lot of startup boot camps and the rest of that to see how young entrepreneurs can access capital, right? And then I think another issue a lot of young people face is knowledge gap. Because it's easy to say, okay, I want to go into this, but the question is that have you built yourself? Have you studied?
Do you know what you're going into?
Do you know what you're going to? Do you understand the market you're going into, right? Because as much as you want to be passionate about business and you want to go into business, but if you don't understand the market, you see yourself failing from the onset, because you have to know what that business entails.
Like understanding the good side and the bad side. Because imagine you starting a business and then you just experience one heartbreak.
A lot of people go into business without things like feasibility study. They don't have SWOT analysis.
They don't have proper research.
They don't have proper research, basically. True. So you don't understand the sector you're going into. And I think what causes that most times is, I want to use the word, a wrong virtual view that we have, because you see a lot of people doing it and you don't understand their backstory, you don't understand what they did, and you feel like you can just go ahead and do that. So I think that's where things like mentorship comes into place, right? So that we should have programs that mentor entrepreneurs, and like you say, a lot of NGOs are doing that, right? A lot of non-governmental organizations that focus on youths are doing that to mentor young people in entrepreneurship, give them the knowledge, the understanding that they need to try.
Let's talk about this angle of regulatory barriers. You see a particular business that, they just say, okay, I want to start this business. I've made up my mind. And the person will say, okay, let me go to an organization where we register businesses, just to secure your name and your property and all that. And the next thing, number one, the process is so much. It's so tedious that it will be so frustrating. That's why you see a lot of people stealing other people's businesses' name, because the ones that gave gave up on the way because of the whole process thing and all that, will just say, I beg, let me just go and start the business first. Then maybe along the line, I'll go and register for my business. But the process is too much. That's like exactly what I'm trying to say. The process is too much. And then the tax, most of the taxes placed on these startups is quite much. So it discourages startups to venture into businesses and to just kill the whole idea in the first place.
Like, I mean, you might have thousands of ideas. I mean, as youth, right? We have different ideas popping up here and there every single day of our lives, and it's more about putting all of these ideas now to work. I think that's where people usually face the major barrier, because okay, now probably I have the business idea, or I want to sell something, right? But I do not understand how the market goes. I don't understand how it works. I don't understand. In some cases, right, you don't have a target audience. Your goal is just that, oh, I want to sell this thing, and I just want to sell clothes. You don't see that, okay, these are the people that this is my market. This is what they can offer. And it talks about how there's little or low minimum knowledge of how, or proper business training for people. Like, people don't understand how business goes about. You don't understand that. You need to understand that, oh, I'm going into a particular market now, right? Before I am able to sell anything at all, I should understand that, okay, this is my market, or this is my market, right? And then I know that this is their power as well, their purchase power, because everyone has their own purchase power at the end of the day. And if you are selling it's more like selling a good to people that want, even they have to see that they need it first. If they see that they need it, it has to be something that is affordable at the same time. Because if it's not affordable, there's no way that your market is going to buy it. So it just talks about how we actually need to look at all of these things in total and try to see all of those things.
So to add to what you were saying, right, I want to make a remark. And I know sometimes when I say this, a lot of people come for me, but I'll say it anyway.
Okay.
Regulations are not our enemy. They're in place for proper establishment of organizations and of businesses, right?
Okay.
So, some of those regulations are not to deter businesses. But I think the issue with it is sometimes it can be tedious to, get the required documents and, the required registrations that you need. But at the end of the day, if you are able to go through them, you see that your business is more firmly established in the society, right, than others. But I think what we should talk about is the unnecessary bottlenecks, right, involved in getting some of those certifications, right? I have a number of companies running, and I know what I had to go through to get some regulatory certifications that we needed to operate in society. And the fun thing, I know a lot of organizations that are doing the same thing I'm doing, and they don't have those certifications, and they're operating, and there's no trouble. But I understand that those things are necessary, right? But because eventually, those things give you an advantage, right? So, for instance, there was one application we're going through, and they asked for our status report and some other documents that we needed. And the fact that we had those documents handy, we're able to submit that, it gave us a competitive edge, right? So my point is that regulations are not the enemy, but I think we should just find a way to simplify those processes for entrepreneurs.
Actually, that's actually a major one, like ensuring that we try to simplify processes. Because I mean, for young guys, right, if you want to start up a business, I'm going back now to the funding funding part, because most opportunities that we find around us are most of the time capital intensive. And so there's little or no access to loan for people. And I mean, to go through to get some certifications for whatever business that you want to run, you need money to go through all of that. So before you now calculate that, oh, I need to produce this, I need to get this certification, what you will try to look for is the one that will bring more money to you, so that your business doesn't crash at the end of the day. But we're going on a short break now, and once we return, we'll continue on the discussion. We'll probably talk about success stories as we go further right now. We're going on a short break, and once you're back, we'll continue with the discussion on youth entrepreneurship.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hued Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hued Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hued Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Hey everyone, let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people, and let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in, and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together. Yeah, welcome back. It's still Timeline and we're discussing youth entrepreneurship. It's been a lovely conversation so far. Before we even talk about success stories, I would love that we try to trash out some of these challenges. How do we even move ahead with all of these challenges that we've listed now? Because it's important that we talk about solutions so that whoever is watching out there now that has probably this business idea or that business idea, what is on your mind is, okay, you can probably scale through all of those challenges that you facing. Probably you faced some as regards getting loan and things like that. How do people even scale through such challenges? You talked about mentorship already earlier.
Yeah, I talked about mentorship, right? And let me say that when we talk about access to funding, I think it still comes back to knowledge problem. Because what I've come to realize is that there is funding out there, just that a lot of people don't know about them. Right. So I think that's why things like focus groups, like business groups, right? I think one of the best things I did for myself in 2023 was I joined what we call the networking group, right? And, when I joined that group, I got to meet a lot of young people that are doing the same thing I was doing, but in different sectors, right? And, that's when I got to know that there is money. There are people willing to give you money for what you're doing. You just need to meet the right people. Right?
Go through the right channel.
So my advice to any entrepreneur is just don't try to do it alone. Find people doing something similar. Talk to them. Just by even having conversations with them, you will be shocked the opportunities you get to know. So in some of those networking groups, I've gotten access to funding for some of my businesses, right? And, I've gotten mentorship programs, and sometimes I've even gotten some situation where I had to pay for value, right? But I got access to mentorship and all those kind of things. So my point is, don't try to do it alone. Seek out people that are doing something similar and work with them.
Exactly. Share minds together and actually another thing again, you said that the money is there, right? I know that in applying for grants, it could be very, very stressful. You apply for 10, you get 10 rejections.
And again, we have a lot of fake links out there where people share it and, you get deceived. Instead of you getting money from them, you are the one that is even paying the money. So how do we get to differentiate between this?
So that's pretty easy, right? So I'll talk about loans first.
Okay.
If you want to access loan, right, the first thing you need to do for your business is give your business a structure. Give your business a structure. So it means you have to be registered. You have to have a bank account. You cannot be a business person and you are using your personal account to receive money. You are not serious, right? You need to work on that. You have to have a bank account in your business name. Use it for a period of time. I'm telling you, they'll be chasing you for loans. They'll be begging you to come take loans. That's if you're into loans. Now, when you're talking about grants, right? What I usually advise, because there are a lot of opportunity sites out there, right? So there's something one of my mentors told me. He said, whatever opportunity you are chasing, right? If you feel like, this opportunity is worth chasing, then it is worth your proper attention. It means that if they are asking you for some details, the application process is tedious, you should be willing to go through that. So I think it's a mindset thing. I don't know if you've read the book Attitude is Everything. Once you change your attitude towards some of those opportunities, you see that you're better able to do them. Let me say something. I've been opportune to review applications, right? And sometimes I'm going through those applications. What I usually ask myself, I want to find out those persons. I'm like, if you were the one willing to give money to somebody, would you give yourself this money? You get, because so you see a lot, the grammar, and I think another plague that we're having is ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, before ChatGPT makes you smart, but now it makes you dumb. Let me explain. Because if you're using ChatGPT and you're copying and paste, without editing, you understand? I saw one. When ChatGPT gives you answers, it then gives you, this is a summary. With the whole, this is a summary.
Just carried it and pasted it.
It just shows that my point is that some people are not putting proper effort into what they are doing. It's not about applying for every opportunity that you see. You can choose one or two, but be detailed in your application. Put
your heart into it,
and you see you get better responses.
So I get the whole scope now. Actually, talking about the success story, and I think I'll start with Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, so for his own story, right? For me, it's very fascinating because he started out of anger. So it was more like Facebook actually started out of anger, right? It was just he wanted to get back at a lady.
To prove a point.
Exactly, wanted to prove a point, and then from that, created a particular, a website basically where you can vote for people, right? So pick who's the finest, basically. And then after that, he went on. Then people saw that particular idea, then pitched to him something else entirely, and he was trying to work on that, and he saw something else entirely, and he just like that moved into Facebook, and that's how Facebook was actually better. I think it was first the Facebook before it changed the name to Facebook at the end of the day. So it just shows on how I said earlier on that with youth, right, comes a lot of ideas. I mean, year in, year out, day in, day out, we see different ideas pop up on our mind. Some will write them down, some we don't, right? But it just shows on how, from his own now, it was just a little idea to get back at someone, and then he just went on and on and on and on like that until it became something big. Another story that is very interesting is this guy from Netherlands, Slat, right? He created this technology what the technology does is to try to remove plastic from oceans. And for me, it's very interesting because we know that's one technology that is actually solving an actual issue, because if you know me very well, you know that I'm not a fan of using so much plastics, right? Even if you have to use plastics, but then that you reuse, recycle them is very, very important. So one thing that this guy does is to use his technology to now save the environment. I mean, save the aquatic life specifically, because plastic does a lot of harm to all of these guys.
Well, permit me to go into the women's space, because it's an honor to be a woman, and seeing women thriving in this particular space is very, very good. I'll talk about Khadija Ba of Sierra Leone. She employs empowered women, or she actually set up a fashion school, a fashion house, and you know what fashion is to women, in fact, to men too. So everybody is involved in fashion, and, she did it in a way that women are involved, and she also empowered women as well. And that's what is going on. So it's a very, very wonderful one that Khadija Bar did. And I'm a benefiter, I'm a beneficiary of it, even though I don't know where she is now, but at least I'm in the fashion line.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, so if I may add one, and allow me to bring it home, right? Because I think the person I want to talk about is somebody that's indigenous to us. You might not be aware of him, but you can check him out. He's the MD of Trashmonger. So, and why I want to talk about him, because he was about turning your passion into a venture. And I think that it was a beautiful thing. So he finished school, studied industrial engineering, right? Chemical engineering. And, he was concerned about the environment. So rather than seeking a white collar job, he had a lot of offers, but he decided to set up a recycling company, right?
Wow,
and
nice.
Today, Trashmonger, if you go all about, you see their bins everywhere in Abuja and Nigeria. And what they do is that they recycle waste, right? So it spoke very much to me, because he saw an issue in the society and he worked on it, and was able to turn into a profitable venture, and they're doing very well.
Like, what I said earlier, that entrepreneurship is not about just making profits. It's about making change. It's about being creative.
Society,
it's about making an actual impact. Because when you look at it outside, what is it called? Outside, just making profits, right? Look at all of these people that we've mentioned now. The main focus of their businesses was not making profits, right? At the moment now is probably putting food on their table, and even a lot of that sell, right? But their main goal was so that they saw a particular problem in the society, and their goal was to fix that problem. And with fixing that problem, now they are getting their returns for being able to fix that problem. And I think that's the greatest reward that anybody can get in the real sense of things.
Actually, so I think let's just kind of switch to the support systems, where we give kudos to people that are actually doing a lot in this particular system. And shout out to WHO, shout out to United Nations, how they've actually helped, even IMF, they've actually helped young entrepreneurs to achieve their goals. So that alone is their key concern is you start your business and improve it will help you to, scale through and all that. So these particular international organizations have actually helped young entrepreneurs to scale their businesses.
Oh, that's actually very nice. Like, we have you talk about that. There are a number of fundings here and there. There's the World Bank, there's the UNDP as well. I think, and that one again that for me interests me is that of Google, for Google startups. So today now we see in our environment, in our communities, a number of startups. I was talking to a friend the other day, and it was telling me, because it's not in Nigeria, he was telling me that my guy, there are a lot of startups everywhere. More like where is at the moment. If you should turn like this, you see a startup. Turn like this, you see a startup. And one of the things that Google have done, right, is just to try to make the starting up of all of the startups. Did you see that? It's just to make the starting up of all of the startups very easy, and they try to make them to see that there are some things that probably they have to pay for before they have them for free, like things like that, and it just helps them to be able to start up their startup with ease.
Yeah, so I think one of the things they do, right, is giving free ads. They give free ads to businesses, help them get visibility, and that's very. And they also have in some of this course website, they have free courses.
Yeah,
right?
that you can learn.
You can do. I have a lot of those certifications, Google courses that you can do, and get knowledge about the businesses you're entering into, and learn how to put structure to your business, right? And I think I'll give a special shout out to AFDB. They're actually doing a lot, but some of their programs have I've benefited a lot from them. AFDB and UN Women.
Thank you.
Women as well.
Thank you so much.
They're doing a lot, right? And I think it's worth recommending.
So, like with all of this that we've said, actually, we've gone back and forth, like trying to create a point. But what will you personally recommend to people that if you are starting up a business, try to do it this way, try to do it that way, and all of that?
So, the first thing I would say, think value before profits. Because once you give value, you always get profit, right? So instead of saying what can I do to earn money, it's what value can I create? What value can I create? People will always pay for value, right? And once you have that idea, okay, the next thing you need to do is put structure to it, right? Put structure to your idea, right? And please don't be afraid of starting small. Don't be afraid of starting small. That's so important because, sometimes you want to wait for 1 million naira to start your business. You might not get it, right? But you can grow your 10,000 to 1 million and then you're at your 1 million and you start up, right? So don't be afraid of starting small. Just do little things and you'll be surprised, when preparation meets
opportunities.
Sorry, you get it.
Exactly.
Well, I think I literally agree with you. I'm agreeing with both of you now. But anyways, I would just say that it's not too late to start, even though you might feel that everybody have started and you are behind. I feel you should just start. First of all, I believe that everybody has creativity inverted in them. So inbuilt in them rather. So if you have something that is in your hands, I feel you should start it and then seek counsel. I'm so keen about that. Like seek counsel from people that are ahead of you, get mentorship. Don't feel you can do it like you know it all because you have the skill does not mean you can actually thrive in it, because if you don't play your cards well, you'll fail. So, and nobody wants you to fail because we want a better you and we want a better society. So that's my
I've said again and again, and I'm saying again that entrepreneurship is not just about creating profits, but rather being creative. And Emmanuel has also added that it's important that you create value. And once you create value, surely you get that money you're looking for. But the main goal should be to create value, because value in the real sense is not cheap. And so if you are creating something that is very expensive, something that is pricey, trust me that the right buyers will come for your value and come and appreciate you for the value that you've created. And I think that's all we'll be able to take today on Timeline. My name is Paul. Thank you very much for coming, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
And also with me here was
Jonese.
Until we meet again next time on Timeline, my name remains Paul. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Bye.